Whenever I say my PENDREAM TV, PENDREAM TV, there, see them, yopo.
I feel so. Sch00ls, obey like it. Now I comment and no share. I'm a full frost on Saka. Now comment section also no person watch the one bet me a day or dream chere at honum. Now man for so any be a king kind. Now only PENDREAM TV there. And yen summer of course to Ghana and politics money a day banner. Sakaya near the abroad. So me video I Saka a person no chair and a day banner. Remember more than Sch00ls. Obey video way. I'm gonna see every year. Now watch our comment section and say video.
I made the point earlier, and maybe Doc may have missed it, that sometimes the tolerance of the youth of Ghana may be frustrating, but nonetheless it is commendable because it is the reason why we still have the only precious commodity left for us to sell ourselves on intact, and that's peace. Because every other resource in this country seems to be at risk, except peace. And I made the point that but for that tolerance, what we are experiencing in Kenya, we would have experienced long ago. And I find it quite ridiculous that Doc misses that point, and he, like many other communicators of the MPP, continue to cite external factors as reasons why we are going through what we are going through in this country. And I made the point earlier when he was speaking that I find it quite ridiculous that it does not even, dawn on us that it is a very, very annoying excuse to say that the Ukrainian war with Russia especially is one of the reasons why we are where we are. Yeah. When only a couple of weeks ago we saw our president in a meeting with the war-torn Ukrainian president, requesting for food aid, support. I mean, do you get the ridiculousness of that? You say that your country's economy is in a mess because of Russia-Ukraine war. And then you go to the war-torn Ukraine to help you, to assist you. I mean, if the situation is that bad in Ukraine, to spill over to affect you, how do you expect assistance from Ukraine? I mean, that ridiculousness, I cannot just fathom. And that is why I think that, look, we should stop using that excuse because it has become so annoying to the people of Ghana. And if we are not careful, that's how we will push the youth to lose the hope that they have in the electoral process. They won't lose it. Because I am sure that they are patient and tolerant because they are hoping that in December they can channel all their frustrations through the elections and cause a change and ensure that this country is rescued and put back on the path of growth. And then you make the point, another ridiculous one, that ministers and appointees of this government sacrifice their salaries and compensations.
Yeah, that is true.
Look, Randy, that is a palpable lie. Look,
what is a palpable lie?
The fact that he is saying that ministers.
But we had an announcement to that effect.
Randy, the announcement. Listen to the announcement. Yes. The announcement was to the effect that that ministers and heads of SOEs were going to contribute 30% of their salaries to the consolidated fund from April to December of 2022. Oh. That was the announcement.
Oh, okay.
It was not a salary reduction. It was an announcement that these appointees, SOEs, heads of SOEs, and ministers were going to contribute 30% of their salary into the consolidated fund between April and December of 2022. That was it.
A good sign.
I mean,
what was done?
I mean,
on this show, I even challenge you, the two of us.
You see,
I challenge you that Parliament should do same, and you say Parliament will not do it.
When you say these things to the people of Ghana who cannot afford, a decent meal today as we speak, it's insulting. So you think that it is significant for you to make a contribution of your salary that is, by the way, very fat with all your allowances. Really? And I'm talking about ministers and SOEs.
Really?
Yes. Yes, ministers and SOEs. And heads of SOEs. We know that some heads of SOEs, in fact, they take like 3 or 4 times the salaries MPs take.
One is already seated here in the studio.
We know that. They take like 3 or 4 times that you take as MP. So it's already fun. And you tell us you are only making 30% sacrifice the consolidated fund for just April to December in 1 year. And you think that is significant. I'm saying when you repeat that in the face of the suffering that people are going through, it is insulting. But I will move on. What was a worthy example was ministers of the erstwhile NDC government making those contributions and applying it to the construction of CHIPS compounds, which is verifiable throughout the period from 2014 to 2016. Appointees sacrificed a part of their salary, and that was allocated to the I can't remember the percentage, and I don't want to speculate. But I'm saying that was for more than 6 months, and that was for the construction of chip compounds across the country. That is an example worthy of emulation, and not the fact that you abandon that example and then you set up this very cheap.
No global crisis.
Please, Doc, let me finish. You set up this cheap and ridiculous, example.
Pandemic in the world.
I think that you should stop that. You should stop that. And then you talk about the expenditure you have made, you have invested in many things, and that is why we shouldn't forget that. And then you mention free SHS. Look, Doc, you are a researcher, for God's sake. I mean, from 2017 to 2022 is the data I have. You have raised taxes to the tune of about 298 billion. Taxes alone. I'm not talking about borrowed money. Taxes, 2017 to 2022, 298 billion. And yet, the expenditure of free SHS is less than 8 billion.
It's more than that.
It's less than, at least, from 20 to 2022.
It's more than that.
And so when you sit here and then say, you spend so much on free SHS, and yet you have raised this amount of money, and you are a Christian. In the Bible, it is said that to whom much is given, much is expected. You have raised these sums of money, and yet you still plunge us in this hardship, this suffering, this point where we are not even able to service our debts anymore. I mean, it is ridiculous for you to continue to make those arguments. And you speak about jobs. You created jobs. Really? What was the unemployment rate when you came to power? And you said the NDC could not deal with it.
Tell me.
It was less than 6%. Today, according to the statistical service, yes, again, 8.7. According to the statistical service, with all the song and dance that you did on this stage about how you have created jobs, the unemployment rate today is 14.7.
But the 8.4.
14.7, double digits, never ever, experienced before in this country.
8.4 was at the end of 2020.
So that's what I'm saying, that at the end of 2016, at the end of 2016, Randy, at the end of 2016, I cannot.
It's 2016.
Not 2016.
Yes.
Check it well.
So it is. That's the point. Whatever it is, Randy,
it is. Randy,
whatever it is, whether it was less than 6% or it was 8 point something, I am saying that today, with all the song and dance that you have done about job creation, the statistical service. And it is not NDC statistical service. The statistical service of Ghana is saying that unemployment is at an all-time high in this country today. In fact, NAPCO trainees only recently issued a statement attacking the vice president. And I think they correctly placed their concerns, because that initiative was, supervised by the vice president's office. In fact, when he talks about policies that he initiated, I'm surprised that he never refers to that as a solution, as he then used to claim to the unemployment situation in this country. So, I mean, all the talk about, jobs you have created and savings you have made.
What jobs did you create?
Dog. Go and look at the SNIT contributions. Go and look at the SNIT contributions from 2009 to 2. That is the most effective way of measuring jobs that are created within the system, because that is where you know that people, SNIT contributions are paid based on the jobs that they have been given across the country. It is not this myopic political, way of deceiving people with a so-called jobs creation scheme like you set up NAPCO. And then I remember I described it at the time as extended national service scheme. And people thought that I was just being a wet blanket. But that is what it has turned out to be.
It helped.
I'm saying that
at that time
it was not I don't know the word to use.
Mm-hmm.
It was not rocket science.
It was a short term
It
measure.
was an extended national service scheme.
But help.
You could have put it under the national service, because under the national service we already ran such a system. There was already such a system, though. There was already such a system where students who were done with national service could apply for an extended national service, and then they were posted to companies to still serve and still be on national service allowance. You could have done that. But you came up because you thought this was an intelligent thing.
It was.
Okay, sometimes that's what amazes me.
Yeah.
When you brag about the boys who have become area boys, we are told. I mean, and these are your brilliant ideas of solving the problems in this country. In fact, recently I heard the flag bearer again. Randy, this is just a detour. I heard the vice president, the flag bearer of the NPP again, espouse some intelligent approach to improving infrastructure in this country. Do you know what he said? Well, that was intelligent. He said, government cannot fund all the infrastructure needs of this country, but the private sector has money. So what we are going to do is that we'll partner the private sector. They will provide this infrastructure, and then government will be paying bits by bits. And he was talking about educational sector. And I was like, does this guy know that that's how our roads are already constructed in this country? Because the contractors actually go to, banks and borrow money and come and do the roads, and then they are not paid. And then arrears, build up. And sometimes some of them, they lose their homes. As we are speaking today, some contractors are being threatened, by that. Go to the Gov't fund. That's how contractors already build schools. But you see, he sounded so confident in it, as if it is some new idea. And I'm like, is this now occurring to this so-called, economic wizard? And he doesn't realize that that's how we're already, solving our problems in this country. And so I'm saying that, look, some of these things that you tout as achievements rather go to anoint and provoke people whose last hope, I believe, for which reason they are being tolerant of the mess that is around us, is in the December elections, where they will express their disgust at the waste of our time in the last 7 years, and not just the time that is wasted, but the destruction in almost every sector. I used to say 3 E's, but I've been advised to add the 4th E. I mean, the energy sector, the environment, the educational sector, and our economy are all in a mess. And sometimes I worry for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the nation builder. I only have hope in his experience and his hard work. That is evident when he was president the last time. Otherwise, it's not going to be a walk in the park, resetting this country and bringing it back on the path of growth.
All right.